folks? Welcome to another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. Today we have the Grey Knights being led by my Paladin Ancient versus the Genestealer Cult, and we have a Primus here. These two fellas are going to be the warlords for a super interesting game. Recognize that both of these armies are poo-pooed upon from time to time currently because we have old books and old rules and all that. But I think both of these armies still have quite a few tricks, and I think this will be a lot of fun today. So we'll be back in a minute with armies, and then we'll proceed from there. Hope y'all enjoy. We are here with the Grey Knights list today. This is going to be a fun little double patrol Grey Knights list. I've gone away from some of my favorite units and added some of my favorite units, and then we got some utility guys. So we'll start here. We've got two strike squads. These are the good old-fashioned metal boys with halberds, so they are just storm bolters and halberds. We got one squad of interceptors, and they are as they appear. So there's two halberds, there's falchions, power sword, and a silencer in there. We got a whole bunch of characters / HQs. So we'll start here on this end. Librarian with Sanctic Shard. He has the Imperium Domination, the CP regen and warp shaping. You got the Apothecary. He has Inner Fire because I think it's kind of fun. You got the Warlord here is going to be the Ancient. This is a trick I learned recently from listening to other people that play Grey Knights, and I like it. He has First to the Fray. He has the Agorium Scrolls and a Silencer, and that's him. But it's kind of cool. The Exploding Sixes and the additional 6 to be within the range of the banner. It just makes a lot of attacks coming out when he's around. Brother Captain over here, he has Astral Aim, Thunderhammer, and Stormbolter, just as he is. And then Grandmaster Voldus, he has Armored Resilience, the -1 to wound, the Ethereal Manipulation, rerolling failed hits and half range, and I believe it's Edict Imperator, so the shoot and move in the psychic phase is his third power. Hoping I'm doing that right. Then I've got 10 Paladins. This squad of 10 Paladins has the Psy Cannons in it, so there's 4 Psy Cannons in there. And then I've got 10 more Paladins. These guys have the Silencers. This squad has Hammerhand, and this squad over here has Gate of Infinity. And then you've got Vortex of Doom on the Interceptors, and then Gate of Infinity over here with the 2 strike squads. So that's it. That's my list. It comes out to exactly 2,000 points. I was proud of myself for that. And it's 2 patrols. If you're super curious, I'll post a list, but you've got the Ancient and the Apothecary are both elites. So the one of each and 1 Paladin squad goes into a patrol. Then you've got 2 characters or 3 characters in total for HQs. So that's how it all breaks down. That's how it makes it all legal. It should be a lot of fun. I've used lists like this and have done really well for me with Grey Knights. We'll see what it does today because I'm facing off against Genestealer Cult, and we'll be back in a second to look over the Genestealer Cult insanity. So hold your horses. All right, so here we go. Wes has brought his Genestealer Cult. I'm just gonna do this little pan over the sheer number of bodies. It is insanity. So he got here and he rolled a dice. He had an elites heavy list and he had infantry heavy list, or horde basically, and we got the horde heavy list. So here we go. We'll let him talk about it. It's 2 detachments. Sorry.
Yes.
So we'll start on this side here with the Ridge Runners.
Yes, the Achilles Ridge Runners.
Yeah, almost called them a whole bunch of different names all at once. All right, go for it.
Okay, so from basically this side over, we have our 2 HQ choices. We have a Magus with Might from Beyond and Mind Control. He does come with a familiar. And we have their Acolyte Iconward to give everybody a nice 6-up Philippaines. Mm-hmm. For troops, we have 4 identical squads of 7 man with Hand Flamers, Acolyte Hybrids.
It's a lot.
Yes. No heavy weapons on them. For the Neophyte Hybrids, the two 10-man squads, we got 6 with the Autoguns, 2 mining lasers, 2 grenade launchers. Then character-wise, we have a Locus, a Nexus, and a Sanctus with the Silencer sniper rifle. And he does have a relic of the Gift from Beyond, and that's my relic choice. And then for fast attack, we have the 2 Achilles Ridge Runners with flare launchers and heavy mining lasers.
Yeah, and that's not even half.
Yes. And then on the other side, we have the exact same for troops 4 7-man squads with hand flamers, 2 10-man squads with mining lasers, grenade launchers. For HQs, we got another Acolyte Iconward and a Primus. Primus shall be our warlord. He has Alien Majesty, and I spent a point before the game for Heart of the Creed, so he can pick 2 units. And people within now 9 inches get reroll wound rolls of 1. And then for heavy support, we are bringing 2 Cult Lehman Russes. One with a Vanquisher battle cannon, one with a las cannon and twin multi-melts, and the other one with an Exterminator auto cannon and 3 heavy bolters.
This is gonna be fun. I don't have a clue what's gonna happen. Genestealer Cult mystifies me because I feel like every time I play them, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go, and then I see it on the board and I'm like, oh no, this is awful. So we'll find out what happens here. So those are the 2 armies. It is just a ton of stuff over here with the Genestealer Cult, and not so much a ton of stuff with the Grey Knights. We'll be back in a minute. We'll do our deployment, we'll roll up the battle, all those good things shall be done off camera, and then we will come back to let you know what's going on. We have arrived, ladies and gentlemen. These 2 guys deployed, everything else blipped. You know, Genestealer Cult shenanigans. We're obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but if you are familiar with the game, we're playing Vital Intelligence. So we have right down the middle a line of 4 objective markers going all the way down that way. Then we have the 2, 1 in each deployment zone here and here. And we have the long triangular deployment zones. So I did win the roll off for that, so I picked this left side. Well, to me it's left side. I guess that makes no sense on a video. But yeah, that's what it is. So there's a lot less to see on his side of the board. Over here I've got the 2 big paladin blobs. I've got Brother Captain in the center. We've got the Apothecary and Voldus over there. There is one more guy inside the building here, so Voldus is not hanging out there to get shot at, unless I do something poorly or he moves real far real fast. Then back here I've got a strike squad, we've got a librarian, and then over here we have interceptors. And that is all my stuff with the exception of my warlord and 1 squad of strike marines that are hanging out in deep strike. And it feels like not nearly enough. So we will have our little roll off here and see who is going to go first. I'll let you roll first, sir.
Hacha.
3. Oh, 3. Let's see what I can do. Oh, folks, it's a 5. I needed that, I think. So we'll be back in a second with Grey Knights turn 1. Okay, the Grey Knights turn 1 is over. The Interceptors shuffled over here. I had a hard time deciding. I almost put them up here on this objective to do Psychic, and then realized I can't raise banners if they do that, so I just hid them out of line of sight and raised a banner over there. Strike Squad shuffled, moved around, making less room back here, raised a banner on this objective. I gained a CP back from the Librarian. Oh, and I started in the Tide of Convergence, so I'm extra strength and AP on my psi weapons right now. Over here we did a lot of shifting and shuffling. Mr. Brother Captain cast the Astral Aim on a Mighty 12, so I went ahead and kept it, and he took 2 wounds for his efforts. Then I spent the command point for Empiric Surge, giving everybody a +1. The Apothecary did nothing. Voldus did all his buffing on this unit over here, who got jumped over by the other squad. But they have, as you can see, Hammerhand, Armored Resilience, Ethereal Manipulation, and then I spent 2 command points for Psychic Onslaught on them. The Astral Aim went onto this squad. And that was it. This squad with the Astral Aim on them used Gate of Infinity on these guys. So that's how all that played out. So what did we do over here? We came down. We got 1 guy with a toe on the objective, so I claimed an objective, and then we shot the Ridge Runners very badly. It was horrific. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. It was 60 plus wounds, I think, when we added
69.
It was 69 wounds because I'm in the Tide of Shooty Shoot plus Psychic Onslaught, so I was winning them on 3s. I had Ethereal Manipulation, re-rolling the failed hits. It was really bad. He actually managed to save what? You ignored, shrugged like 35 or so
Something like
before they actually both died, which is pretty cool, but they still died. Then some of my extra shooting came from like 4 guys out of the other squad with astral aim. So we shot and killed 2 little neophytes over here, and we shot and killed 3 acolytes. Right,
Yes.
I'm getting there. The more I play him, the more I learn names. I'll probably get them wrong the rest of the game. So that's that. Nobody failed morale. They had a chance to fail morale. They did not. And that was it. So for me, I don't score any points in this turn. I did raise 2 banners. Thin the ranks. I can't even count the Ridge Runners as thinning ranks because they're not 10 wounds or more. So that was fun. They just give me a point. And that's where we stand. Oh, I guess you can see now he has deployed blips here. So we got a big wall of bodies, and then there's still 4 more of these big walls of, well, these guys right here. 4 more squads of them, plus the Primus. No.
Yeah.
That looks like more than 4. Anyways, it's a lot more. They're all coming. They're coming. That's it. So Grey Knight's turn 1 is ended, and we'll be back in a second with Genestealer's turn 1. We're back. Genestealer turn 1 is over. Over on this side, these brave acolytes came around the corner, got onto the objective, then charged into my interceptors. We had some fighting. It was exciting. I did lose 2 guys. He lost 4 guys. I just didn't have enough little skulls to throw around there. So they did not lose any on morale. They just barely, but they didn't. They did not fail. So that was good on them. These dudes all moved forwards, just kind of normal like. These guys actually moved up along with this squad over here and got in range to shoot at my paladins back here. So this paladin squad, I went ahead and spent the 2 points for transhuman physiology on them. I think it helped a little, maybe not a lot, but it did a little. I lost a paladin, and I have 1 paladin over here with 1 wound left. So that wasn't horrible. These guys took a beating from this guy. Not my friend. He's on my list. He's finna die, I hope. So I did have armored resilience on them, which makes no difference when you have a monster with a Vanquisher battle cannon, a las cannon, and multi-meltas. It went from wounding on 2s to 3s. Something, but it doesn't matter a whole lot. So that was kind of rough. I did also take wounds, so he's on 2 wounds remaining over here. So it could have been worse. It wasn't enough to fail morale, which is good, because the last time I lost enough to fail morale with these guys, I lost like 4 more to morale. It was embarrassing, because they're paladins. They shouldn't do that. The only other thing interesting to note over here, he gained a dude with, what was that called?
Cult reinforcements.
Cult reinforcements. So in the beginning of his turn, he got D6 numbers back, and it was just 1, unfortunately. So there was 4 there, or 5?
There was 5.
It became
and
5.
Then 4 died to
4 died to Overwatch, yeah. I still had my ethereal manipulation going, so I figured why not. And ironically, the silencers only killed 1, and my 3 stormbolters killed 4, or 3. So that was whatever. And then the last guy ran away. And he also failed his charge. So that worked out okay for me, not so much for Wesley. So that's where we're at. He did raise a banner. The Nexus?
My Nexus, yes.
Back there in the corner raised a banner, and that's where we sit. So, the end of this turn, neither of us managed to really score any points, but we did get set up to start scoring. So that'll be coming around next turn, and that is that. So we'll be back in a minute with Grey Knight's turn 2. Well, the end of Grey Knight's turn 2 is here. Did a lot of stuff with this unit of paladins. Lots of psychic buffs went off. Also used Edict Imperator. So they got to shoot and they moved. So I'm holding that objective and being a bully right there. I don't know if you can read all these with the glares, but they have Edict Imperator, Ethereal Manipulation, Armored Resilience, Hammerhand, and Sanctuary all on that squad there in the middle, because they're kind of exposed. They did shoot all their Psy Cannons into this tank, dropped them to 6 wounds, and then the Stormbolter shots came over here, and Mr. West rolled redonkulous with his ignoring wounds. 10 wounds went through, and he lost 2 from that with his feel no pains. Like, it hurts. It hurts my mind. So that's that. I did shoot again with some characters and different bodies. Oh, you know what? Those characters couldn't see them. We had moved this building. That's hilarious. So there's at least 2 more guys that are still alive there. Or no, 3, I would say, that are still alive over here. So that's my bad. I moved the building because it was in the way for moving, and they walked through the buildings. Then I forgot about it and just shot. That's okay, whatever. We'll give them back some boys. Over here, we did get Astral Aim and then Gate of Infinity onto this Paladin squad before I jumped them. So they came from this objective here, which is now being held by my Ancient. Came back here, and we shot the rest of our Silencer shots in here, caused that to die. And then the Stormbolter shots went into the Nexus, and we only took 2 wounds off of them. I was disappointed. But it's still something. It's a beginning. It's a chip. And then on the rest of the board, my Apothecary healed that guy up a whole wound. Yay! These guys sat still. Nothing exciting going on with them. These guys, we paid 1 point for, I'm trying to remember what it is, Fight on the Move. So they, oh no, we didn't, because I remember they still had their teleport shunt. So they teleported out. Sitting on this objective, shooting these guys. We tried for a vortex, didn't happen. It's fine. And then for these guys, I paid a command point for them to come down within 3 inches of the last 2 guys there, and then we shot them and killed them. That's it. That was what I was able to get done. So killed a couple of guys there, killed a few there, but not as many as what it looks like because I cheated. So we'll unkill a couple of them. And that's it. That's where we're at. So yes, I didn't get to raise any more banners because everybody had to clear stuff off in order to do that. So the problem is I feel really, really good right now, but the rest of his army is about to show up, and I'm not going to feel really good in a minute. So I'm enjoying this while I can. And I only scored 5 for primary. That was unfortunate as well. Yeah, it's about to be pretty ugly. So, I do apologize, Wes. This guy is raising a banner. Okay. He didn't do anything else in the whole turn. Did he do a psychic? Oh, he did a psychic. Yeah, he cast Sanctuary, so I guess he's not. Silly rules. But that's it. So we'll be back in a minute for the Genestealer Cult turn 2, and the tide may be shifting with them arriving. I'm a little worried. Genestealer Cult turn 2 has ended. As predicted, tons and tons of bodies have shown up. These guys came down here in the corner, shot or flamed my Ancient. I'm going to turn him around because it's more better when he looks at them. Flamed him in the face. He took a wound from that. Then they charged him, and he took 3 wounds off of their combat and survived with a wound. He's being a hero. So he's still alive. He managed to kill 3 of them in his fight, even though he has no melee weapon. He punched 3 to death. He's the man. Over here, these guys melted. Because, see, what had happened was they tried to charge my paladins in the corner, and I paid my last command point to Overwatch, and I killed all but 1. I was impressed. That was better Overwatch than the last time I tried it. The alarm is not anything important. That's my coffee maker going to sleep. I did end up spending 2 of my last 3 command points for the transhuman physiology on them, which helped a lot. It saved 4 wounds, I think, off of this guy's heavy bolters, I believe is what it was. So that made a difference. It saved a couple of shots from his exterminator disgustingness. So it did end up helping me here. But I took 2 full flamer squads. These guys flamed into them as well, and I only ended up losing the 1 guy. So that worked out far better for me than it should have. These guys all move forwards, taking the objective from me, so I'm not going to score any primary. We're actually being rather cruel to each other and taking primaries back and forth. He didn't get to score points because it's a whole 2 for 5. So he didn't get any last turn. I won't get any this turn. But the long and short of this is he killed 1 guy and took a wound off another one with his 2 squads of, these are the Neophytes here, right? Yes. With their lasers and bolters and grenade launchers. So they're still holding pretty. This group right here had a little bit of hard time finding a place to land, but they managed to land here and split some flame fire over at my paladins, and over here my interceptors. This guy right here, he's my champion. He's my hero at the moment because he survived a lot. I lost 2, but he's still there. Not able to contest the objective or anything, so they still were able to raise a banner, but he's still alive. I'm really excited about that because it gives me some options to do things. So that was good for me. And then back here, we had this squad come down. They flamed into this group of Strike Marines and did nothing which made me happy, of course. These guys, on the other hand, they flamed these guys to death like 4 times over. I think they had the most successful. Weren't they the ones that had 32 hits
32
or wounds? I mean, and it was bad. I failed like 9 or something on their. It was the rest of the guys. He was averaging like 20 per squad, which is about right, 20-ish. And then these guys dropped 32 on me. So those guys died. So yeah, that was my. I only have one more unit of objective secure. That's them back here. So the only way I can really win the game now is mow down everything. It's gonna be hard to do because he's killing my stuff, but I have some firepower still, so we're gonna give it a go. At the end of this turn, the scores are interesting. We're not scoring a whole lot. This is gonna be one of those games that will end at like 30 points a pop. So he gets 3 for engaging on all the fronts, 1 for raise the banner, and I had 3 for thin the ranks and 1 for raise banners. So we tied there, but I'm edging him out on my primary. Oh, watch out! I got 5, which it's going to be hard to keep him from scoring primary in the next turn. But I'm going to give it my best shot. Don't you worry. So yeah, got a lot of things to figure out and a lot of things to do. We'll be back in just a bit with Grey Knight's turn 3. Well, folks, Grey Knight's turn 2. No, this is turn 3. Turn 3. I was about to choke. Turn 3 is ended for the Grey Knight. So, Librarian over here moved around to be outside of flamer range in case these guys didn't die, and they did not. But I did charge them, and I did kill most of them, and they lost 1 to morale. I just ran out of skulls. I lost 2 in combat. It was kind of disappointing because he interrupted here, and it was a good interrupt. He had the odds were in his favor to kill them. These guys, I shot a bunch of shots into them and killed all but 2, and then they did fail morale, which I needed but he still holds this. He just can't raise a banner, which is kind of good because in this mission you hold it until your opponent takes it back from you after you've had it. So that was kind of unfortunate. I was thinking if I killed him off objectives I'd be fine, but because it's not, whatever. This one, I did a lot of shooting as much as I could. So this guy right here, my interceptor, he's my champion so far. He didn't die last turn when he probably should have. I moved him over there because he moves 12, and with his teleport pack, he can cross over models and stuff. So he moved back here to be closest to the, what is it called? The Icon Ward. So then I cast a Vortex of Doom. I spent 1 command point for 3d6, and I rolled 2 6s and a 5. Which you have to take the 2 highest, so it meant that he perilled and he would have died. So I command point re-rolled it, and he managed to get the vortex off, used all my CP doing so, and he killed like 1 here, took 3 wounds off the Icon Ward, and killed 1 over there. So that was okay, right? Took that guy down to 1, then he made his charge and killed the guy in combat, piled in over here, just to touch that guy. Didn't end up mattering because he didn't run away. But hey, it was worth a shot. These guys suffered a few losses, not too many. These guys were pretty much unmolested. Over here, though, the Paladins, with the help of Voldus rerolling 1s, and the Bannerman, who was in the corner here before he died, giving the 6-inch +1 attacks for the banner, plus the exploding 6s, killed off this squad, the Icon Ward here, and most of this squad, but they did not fail morale. So they were potent. They did what they were supposed to do as Paladins. And you'll notice there's no cards out from my psychic spells that were successful because they were not. It was awful. I changed into the tide of the super smiting, so I was doing 2 damage smites, and I only cast 2 successful smites. I failed every one of them after that, including a Perils from Voldus onto himself, and I think I didn't Perils back there. I think I did a Perils somewhere else. Oh, I rerolled 1. The Librarian did, but he had the Relic to reroll. So it was pretty underwhelming. I tried to smite these guys off with my banner and my brother Captain, and they were unsuccessful. It was really bad. So I didn't get any buffs, didn't get any offensive things other than the smites. So that is what it is. So I laid him down here just to remind myself that he died. So he's got this point back here. Over here, the Paladins did successfully smite, and the little skull down there is the Nexus. So I killed him, got Assassinate. Made the charge. This cheeky little Primus passed off wounds like a madman, knocking this dude, the Locust, heroically intervened, knocked him down to 1. Primus still took some and knocked down to 1. But my Paladins did some work. It was frustrating as all get out because he kept getting hurt and then he'd pass off wounds. So I did successfully get them into combat. I did take the banner down and hold this because of the number of bodies I have. So I've taken away an objective there. I was trying my best with what little I have left to knock stuff down and take points away, and I was kind of successful and kind of not. And he still has a lot of bodies, but I did do a fair bit of damage in that turn. So that is the end of the Grey Knights turn 3, and we'll be back in a minute with the Genestealer Cult turn 3 coming up. The Genestealer Cult turn 3 has ended. Lots of death, lots and lots of death. These guys over here were engaged in glorious combat. They did get flamed with his little flame pistol business, but survived it. And then we managed to kill him in combat. I was proud of them. Wesley was not quite so much. But I still can't do anything about that objective that he owns. I was just talking off camera. I've got to do some stuff to be able to knock down his objectives because he's going to outscore me primary wise. These guys, well, this guy himself, he fell back, so he just went into the crater, and there's the raised banners. These guys here, though, moved up here and started data intercept. And then Mr. Sanctus, he did a thing. He killed my champion interceptor. I was kind of salty, actually. That interceptor survived so long and did so much work. But yeah, my interceptor finally bit the bullet, literally. Those guys fell back, and then a squad came in here and did some flaming. I did lose a paladin and a wound on another one from flame slash.
I
lost 2.
In Volvis.
Yeah, I did actually lose 2 guys myself. You lost. Then they hit back and wiped. Oh yeah, you're right, because you flamed into Volvis. He went down to 1 wound remaining. I thought 1. No, it was just combat. Yeah. They came in combat. They killed 2 of my paladins. So I lost 2 guys there. He charged with the lone. Those were acolytes.
Yes.
Yeah, the lone acolyte came in there. These acolytes came in here. We killed them off. I was proud of my boys. These guys that were on the objective came off the objective, still holding it. Super aggravating. Charged my captain. My apothecary intervened. Brought the captain down to 1. Voldus is at 1. I got really lucky with those. And then we wiped out that squad there. And back here, this was in fun times. These guys just did lots of combating back and forth. The Magus did charge, and then we went back and forth. So I think I lost 1 guy or 2 guys.
You lost 1 guy.
Just 1 in that turn? I couldn't remember. So I lost 1 in that turn. Oh, he did mind control on me. That was really obnoxious. He mind controlled me, which he succeeded. I did not deny it. And then he used my paladin, my paragon, with his hammer and smacked my guys around, but we deflected. We stand firm. But it was really kind of embarrassing. Grey Knights shouldn't get mind controlled. That's just bad. And that's that. The tank over here just rotated his cannons and shot into my paladins, but I took cover saves on the guys that were in the crater, so I negated all his -1s. No, I did lose a guy to shooting. That's where I lost. Right. That's where the guy in the crater died, because I did take 2 heavy bolter rounds in the face, or a bolter round and a vanquisher cannon, one of those 2. But it combined to kill 1, and then I lost 1 in combat, is what that was. Yeah, so that was the end of his turn. Score-wise, he did not get to engage on fronts this turn because I killed off 2 guys that were there. He started data intercept, got another raised banner point. This is where we sit. And he picked up 10 on primary because he was holding 3 at the start of the turn. He's still holding 3 unless I can get around and do stuff. It's a pretty wild mission. So there we stand. This is the end of turn 3, coming up on Grey Knights turn 4. Grey Knights turn 4 is done. So I shenaniganized the best I could. Over here, what we did was we cast, the Apothecary did something. Oh, he did a smite, long range smite with Brother Captain's bonus. It went off, killed a couple guys over here, and then the paladins did a smite, or Voldus did a smite, and killed the rest of the guys. But either way, I paid the command point for Empiric Surge. So we had a +1 for all their other spells. Still failed in Armored Resilience over here with Voldus. But then I did get Edict Imperator. So these guys killed there was like 6 guys that were over there holding the edge of that. There was 1 guy in the middle, but the 6 guys on the outside were shot and killed by my paladins. Then we moved our 5, and we managed to get onto this point. So we took that point down, just spread out so that the characters can be targeted until, from the tank, until those guys died. The Sanctus got shot by the Brother Captain and Voldus in the shooting phase. These poor Strike Marines. Oh, you know what? Oh no, I used Gate. Yeah. They tried to advance onto the objective, failed it because they were short. Then they gated, and then they shot and killed the guy in the crater. These guys just smacked the Magus and killed him, and that was kind of it. So the tank is the last man standing for the Genestealer Cult. Wesley decided it was probably appropriate to concede at that point in the game. And then I've got my librarian sitting back here. So I raised a whole banner the whole game. Wesley raised 2 banners. I stole one of them from him back there in that back corner with the paladins. And then this one remained because, that's how it works. But it's kind of interesting. So we had a lot of fun. It did kind of fall apart for Genestealer Cult. I guess at the end of turn 3 was when units started to die. And we did talk about it. Really, the big deal was when I gated paladins back there, and he brought in all his stuff, and then I overwatched and killed all but 1 guy there, and then he failed the charge with the other squad over here, who would have had some pretty good bonuses to hit and would have knocked out a few paladins. So it was tough. That definitely hurt. And then, did what he could. Genestealer Cult kind of, as we all know, kind of in a bad spot. So the end of my turn, the score, I had 43 points and Wesley had 19. And we're just going to call it there. That's without paint, but hey, just so people know we're not forgetting it. It was a lot of fun. It was a good game, pretty intriguing. I was telling Wesley I didn't know whether or not my Grey Knights would hold up having half the number of units that he brought. He was pretty convinced that his Genestealers would have a hard time. And I do admit I forgot T3, so my Stormbolters were killing stuff on 3s, which is kind of helpful for me. So that definitely made a difference. And then him failing charges finally. He doesn't usually fail those charges, the 9-inch charges. I was grateful. It is my last game of 40k before I turn 41. So last game of 40k at 40. Woohoo! So he was being very generous and allowing me to have a victory there. That's what I think. I think he rigged his dice. Yes. Very gentlemanly of him. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We were talking about MVPs. Mine was my little Interceptor, the Justicar that would not die. That dude just kept on dishing out mortal wounds and shooting and killing and charging things longer than he should have. So he was my MVP. Normally my poor little Interceptors get launched into the middle of something, do a Vortex of Doom, and then get shot and killed. But he did more. I was so proud of him. So he was good. And then for Wesley, it was his big tank with the Las Cannon, the Multi-Meltas, and the Vanquisher Battle Cannon turret, because that guy killed like 4 paladins for him. And
single round shooting.
Yeah, and so I had to return a favor. I didn't like it. But that was pretty fun. So yeah, that was a really fun game. Thank you for coming over, Wesley. I enjoyed it very much. And we've got some musical backgrounds going. Woohoo! And I was going to also point out the rocks are from Gamemat.eu. So if you like those, check them out. We'll be back with more kitchen table wargaming soon.